bird. So our theme for 2025 is rising higher, growing deeper. And our theme for the month of January is stretching into possibility. The title of our talk today is Choosing Possibility, and it will be given by our wonderful Reverend Charlene. We are so glad that you took some time out of your day to join us. You made it. Phew. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our official welcoming video. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is. And so it is. Before we go into our meditation, I want to remind you, if you have any celebrations or prayer concerns that you would like Reverend Charlene to include later in our service, please put them in the chat and she will make sure to include those. All right, let's go into our meditation. So choosing possibility, stretching into possibility. I read something online and it said, 2025, now that I've had the first 4 weeks of you, I'd like to cancel my trial subscription. So we can focus on all the things that might be causing us anxiety, or we can also focus instead on the possibilities that this year holds. So that's what I'm going to use as my springboard into our meditation today. This is called the Yes, But meditation. Here we go. So sit in a relaxed position and put your palms up. Have them facing upward. If you have any tension in your shoulders, release it. If you have any stress or tension in your back, just kind of sink deeper into your chair and relax, but keep your palms facing upward. Now, we're going to inhale, do our deep breathing just like we do with every meditation, but I'm going to add something to it. So as you inhale, you're going to close your hands. And when you exhale, you're going to open up your hands. So inhale, just picture that breath drawing inside. And then when you exhale, you're releasing. So let's take a few deep breaths doing that, filling up our lungs, but also moving our hands as we inhale. Here we go. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. And one more time. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. And as you keep doing that activity, I'm going to take you through our meditation. So yes, but take a moment, do a little soul searching, go into your heart, go into your mind, and select something that's been hanging out there. Something that's on your mind, something that maybe you shelved, that isn't always on your mind, but it's back there. And you'd like to take an action, but there's something holding you back. And you're saying, yes, it'd be great, but take a moment and see if you can find that. And when you found that, just bring that forward. And in your mind's eye, you can even come up with a symbol, something that you place right in front of you, right between your two palms. And right there it is. It's there, but it's not quite there. Because you haven't made it happen yet. At this point, it's just a possibility. But it's not a reality yet. It's a yes, but. So now what we're going to do is focus on that yet. How do we take that possibility and make it happen? So breathe deeply and open and close your hands. This time, there's no buts about it. We're just going to say yes. So we're going to breathe and say yes. We're going to hold and say yes. We're going to exhale. And instead of closing our hands, we're going to say yes. And look what I'm doing with my palms. Yes, here I am. I am ready to receive. If somebody wants to give you a gift, you do this. You don't go, oh, hey, give it to me now. You just say yes. Yes. I am open. I am ready to receive. I'm going to stop talking now, and I want you just to sit in this place of yes, where you are choosing possibility, where you're turning possibility into reality, where you're making this happen.
Feel like I want to do something that we do with our spiritual mind treatment. You just did the realization. So let's just offer up gratitude, saying, yes, yes. I know that what I am seeking is also seeking me. I am so grateful for this knowledge. I know that it is working its way to me, and with divine, perfect timing, it's going to happen. I can turn the possibility into reality. And so it is. So open your eyes if you had them closed. Shrug your shoulders a little bit, wiggle your fingers, and join us as we have some music now.
Thank you so much, Tamara. Before you began your meditation, you really spoke to me because the last few weeks of the news has been really screaming out for my undivided attention. And I'm really grateful for this ministry and music like the song I'm going to share by Reverend Wendy Luella Perkins, who is in Canada. And I put the lyrics into the chat. And once I've sung it a couple of times, I hope you will want to sing along. What do I choose to give oxygen to today? What wolves will I feed and which will I keep at bay? When the world overwhelms me, in the quiet of my heart I'll say, what do I choose to give oxygen to today? What do I choose to give oxygen to today? Which wolves will I feed and which will I keep at bay? When the world overwhelms me, in the quiet of my heart I'll say, what do I choose to give oxygen to today? What do I choose to give oxygen to today? Which wolves will I feed and which will I keep at bay? When the world overwhelms me, in the quiet of my heart I'll say, what do I choose to give oxygen to? What do I choose to give oxygen to? What do I choose to give oxygen to today?
Wow, that was so great. If we were in person, I would have been like, one more round. Oh, it's so good. Tamara, your meditation. Wow, that was really great. You guys both have teed me up to do what I got to do right now. And I just really appreciate what I feel like is one of those. Have you ever played with a slide on the side of the grass? You put the baby oil down and you'd run some water and you just, woo! I feel like you just did that. So I appreciate that because today we must begin our discussion about practice. Practicing what, you might ask? Well, for the last 3 weeks, we've talked about, if I refer to my handy dandy, where is it? Spiritual journal. I can just tell you, we've talked about in the last 3 weeks, going to the page with the summary. Week 1, God's nature is our nature. And Reverend Melinda sat here and told us about how she went to someplace in Peru and she put her third eye into this place, and she was able to see this quantum set of portal doors. It was really amazing. But really, it was all about, she spoke something in to the chasm or the precipice, and then she realized, oh my gosh, that was years ago, and that's the life I'm living right now. God's nature is our nature. It lives in us and as us. Week 2 was all about, but we got to make space for it. And remember, I was asking you, have you made space for the thing that you really want in your life? And is there room for it? And so that gave us lots to talk about. Last week, we talked about the flowing nature of the divine, that it's always here, flowing all around us. The infinite possibilities are flowing through all of us. And so I can't wait to talk to you today about the actual practical way that you can make your life absolutely better. It is in practice of these techniques. What techniques? Well, wait, remember when we opened up our session today, we had those 5 pillars. And the first one is meditation, where we know, and that there's circulation of energy and study, and there's giving back and service, right? But the thing about meditation is that we get to pause. And we do this every day if we can. We pause, we get out of our habitual way of being, and we practice the ideas that I talked about. The idea that the divine is so much in our favor. It wants for us so much good, so much love, so much abundance that we can expand our insides and just hold more of it, but we could never hold all of it because it's infinite. The possibilities and the power of the divine, infinite. And we're only taking a little bit of it and living our lives because we don't really practice the techniques that will get us higher and more in contact, more in touch. Meditation is one of those things. And I have to say, I was listening to Leah talk. I agree. The more I read the news, the more I'm like, okay, here we go. But then as Leah said what she said, I realized, so it's like a teacher who's giving you some really tough homework. It's like the universe is going, here's some material for you to practice with. What are we practicing? Well, let's get into our meditation and know that there's something beyond this. Let's get into our spiritual prayer where we know that there's something more going on than we can see, touch, and feel. There's something amazing happening right now, but if you were to believe all of the calls for our attention, it's all going to hell in a handbasket is what we're supposed to think, I guess. But we get to practice something else today. And so I'm here to tell you what we get to practice. And yes, there's homework. If you haven't already peeped it, yes, there's homework. So the first thing I must say is this, that we are living out, usually, without this practice, 90% of what we do every day is just habit of what we've already done. We are living out yesterday. Think about it. Look around. Everything that's around you is a result of all your actions, your thoughts, and all of the communal actions of our society as a whole, sort of coagulated into existence and shows up as stuff, experiences, feelings, emotions that are from the past. And that's not so bad. We need continuity after all. If every day you woke up and everything was new, that would be weird. So, okay, I get it. But that's not the whole truth. The thing that we see in front of us, the things that we experience, the news that we watch or listen to or scroll past, yeah, that is something, but it's the result of past behavior, past beliefs as a conscious collective or even in our own lives. Anybody who's ever been in a body knows what it's like to wake up after having had one too many of whatever, whether it's an Oreo cookie or an alcoholic beverage. We all know what that's like. You are living in the results of yesterday's decisions. We get that part. But what if every way you see the world, the stuff that when we went into meditation with Tamara, with the breathing in and holding and then breathing out, And we know we want really good things for ourselves, but I'm too old. We know we really want a divine partner, but people suck. Or whatever it is that we tell ourselves, there's the but that keeps us doing what we've always done. It keeps our mind from seeing all the possibilities, and it keeps it's like a horse with blinders on. We're focused on this well-worn groove in the road, and we can't see anything else. And even if we could, well, the grooves it makes the wagon go easy. Let's be honest, the grooves are great because that's a well-worn path. Everybody's been on this path. It is what it is. So you can go into autopilot. Autopilot, no, it's not a good idea. Not for creating the life that you want. And let's be honest, we all have desires about the life that we want. And then there are things, I know that there's a whole in the spiritual community, there's a kind of conditioning that we shouldn't really want more things. We shouldn't want. We should actually live a life where, we're not attached to any outcomes. That's wrong. You gotta have goals. And the goals are about what I want to feel like when I get there. It's the yes, I want this thing and I deserve it. I'm not too old. I'm just experienced. Hello. And everything I've done, like what Tamara told me earlier, everything I've done up to this moment has prepared me for that amazing thing right there that it's not too good for me. This is perfect for me. And so this is what we want to arrive at. And to think that to be spiritual would be to be devoid of all desires, that's not even in alignment with physics. Just principles of the world itself. There's always energy, and it's always moving in the direction of our attention, and we always get to choose. And so we want to live our life in a sort of in a forward motion, not in reverse and not in neutral. We want to move forward toward our desires, because what we desire, when we align ourselves with the infinite, with the highest and best, the unconditional love and the universal principles that are good for all, it's impossible to want something that's not good for everybody. It's impossible to want something that's going to hurt someone else. When you're in alignment, you can hear her slurping, I suppose. Yeah, she thirsty. When you're in alignment with the universal principles, then what you want from that energy is something that'll lift us all up. It'll be something that is in alignment with what you came here for. You have a purpose, and you have a certain way of being in the world, and you're still here, so you're not finished. And therefore, when you go within and you get rid of the detritus and all the things that are distracting and all the wonderful calls for our attention, when we shut that out, close our eyes, go within, and we start to get more harmonious with what's inside, with what calls us. And we start to not pay so much attention to all the things on the side, to really start to within, internally. And then we rise up with this renewed commitment, intention, inspiration, something that lights us on fire. It'll be different for everybody. And when we move in that energy, the attraction, the ways that we bring people who love us into our lives. I heard a joke today. Reverend Michael said it. He said that your friends, your close friend circle that you have around you that love you, are God's way of apologizing for your actual physical family. And that's funny because I love everybody in my family. So many of them are on this Zoom meeting. I got lucky. But some people, they say, well, you got your family of choosing. Those are your friends. And then there's the family you were born into. You didn't get to really consciously choose that. And I love to have the juxtaposition, because we get to examine ourselves and how we're reacting or responding to external situations. I'm just pretty much asking us to please get our power back. Let's call back in all the ways in which we've parsed our attention and divided it out and sent it out. Let's get it back and bring it in, and then decide who we are. Everybody is going to be different. Get very intimate with who you are. The good, the bad, and the things that you wish you weren't, all that, put it down. Get very comfortable with this, because this is going to inform your very next steps. And so, practice, let's talk about it. Step one then would be make choosing your possibility your default. Not, okay, for example, usually people are living by default, by automatically reacting to life in habit, ways of habit. A lot of these choices of habit are limiting us. And I'm just reading from Laura Mackler, who wrote a book called Soulmate, S-O-L-E, Mate, Master the Art of Aloneness and Transform Your Life. This is the title. So here's the quote. When you're living by default, you're automatically reacting to life in habitual ways, many of which may be limiting you and your life. In contrast, living deliberately means making more conscious and constructive life choices. When you're living deliberately, you're living from a position of responsibility. You're making choices with greater awareness. You're taking yourself off of autopilot so you're better prepared to align your actions with the results you want to achieve. That's, again, I'll put it in the chat. Lauren Mackler, I love it. Soulmate, S-O-L-E, mate. There you go if you want to have a little light reading. Now, that's choosing the possibility, getting out of autopilot, getting out of our default mode of operation, examining if the thoughts you're having are even yours. Is this even me? Who's saying that? And a lot of times, for me anyway, I know that I grew up like a lot of people from my generation did. It was desirable to try and be thin. And the things I went through over the decades to try and be thin. And still, even though consciously I know it does not matter, this does not matter. There's a couple things that do matter. A, I don't want to buy a whole bunch of new clothes because I blew up. And B, I'm always grabbing parts of myself, deciding if it's bigger than it used to be. Before I even consider, is this me or is this what society has told me to focus on? Because if they've got me focusing on my body, there's less neurons that can focus on how to change this world for the better, right? So that's, I think, who knows? I know the advertisers just wanted to sell more diet pills or whatever, but I get to examine the thoughts. Yet still, the autopilot still grabs a roll and says, is this roll thicker than it was before? It's both of these things can be true. It's just our nature. But to become aware of the process of when our minds go into default autopilot mode, measuring things that have stopped being important. Nobody cares. And if they care, that's their problem. That's what I arrive at. As I still go to the gym, I still want to be healthy. Good Lord, but I don't need it to be performative. You see what I'm saying? Every one of us has something that we do. We're on default autopilot. There's that thought. I would like all of us to become aware of what these are and then choose something else. Choose something else. Now, what are we going to choose? This is where affirmations come in. So the second thing we do, and once we just become aware of our thoughts, then we use affirmations. Now, what is an affirmation? Well, first of all, it's a statement of what it is you do want. For example, if, let's keep going with the grabby grab of the different sides of my waist, just to be silly and give the instruction. So if I notice myself drifting into the, oh no, is that thicker than it was before? What's going on? I could decide to change that. And how do I change it? To give myself another thought. So in this case, I'm going to come up with an affirmation that's in present tense. I am. And then what is it I want to know about myself? Now, in the past, I would have said, I am thin and lithe and svelte, and I would have said that. But that's not really, as I dig a little deeper, I just say I am in a beautiful and loving and healthy body. Right? Because to that, I just add ideas of this body is a wonderful thing that moves me through the world. It is healthy. It is muscular. It is all the things I want it to be. And it's not to pass some sort of mental test that I think it's not a fashion show is what I'm trying to say. So that's the idea. I want to do it from that core sense. And I have to do it in present tense. And when I'm stuck for words, I have no problem asking my girl ChatGPT to help me phrase it in a way that's a little more succinct. I'll be like, hey, girly girl, call her. And then, so how do I say this affirmation in a way that's like something about I don't want to be focused on the roll around my waist. I want more focus on my healthy body and my muscular. This is the body that loves me, that I love it back. And she'll be like, wonderful affirmation, 2 or 3 of them. Try it yourself. It's amazing. Now, there's one thing about affirmations, though, that people could get caught up on. Now, I'm going to read you a quote from Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God. He goes, affirmations do not work if they're merely statements about what you want to be true. What? Shar, didn't you just say? Hold up. He says, affirmations work only when they are statements of something you already know to be true and something that you're already grateful for. Like when Tamara ended that meditation, she's like, well, we just did the realization. Now let's just be grateful. Because you know there's so many truths going on. You pick one. Pick some truth that you want to be true about you. Not only say it, but feel it. Know that it's already true. And then give gratitude for it because it's already true. And you've just done a bit of reprogramming of your brain. You just laid down a new set of neural connections that if you keep doing it will get stronger and stronger and will edge out the other one that said you're not good enough. There's a roll. Okay? This works for everything, whether your affirmation is about external wealth or internal health, whether it's about beauty or love or joy, anything that you could want for yourself that is also something that gives back. There's a thing about it that has to be beneficial, giving back. And for my whole body thing, if I'm in a healthy body, then I can better serve you, my spiritual community, the people I serve through my business. I'm better able to show up. I can walk the dog, right? If I am healthy, then I can serve. And so it's always something for some higher calling. If you can sort of embed that into it, then in my opinion, you will demonstrate faster that which you want to have in your life, if you know that it's for the greater good. So that is the second thing. You're trying to just replace all of those thoughts and feelings and energies that aren't necessarily you, but are part of your conditioning. And so sometimes this is hard. Sometimes you have to deny something. Sometimes it's not enough to just say, I am the thing I want to be, because a part of your mind will be like, girl, you lying. So what are we going to do about that? Well, Ernest Holmes definitely talks about denial of conditions that we don't want to be true. And so it would look like this. I deny the power of self-doubt. I deny the power. It has no power here. And I affirm that self-trust is expanding in my life. Or I deny the power of self-effacement, or whatever the word is where you put yourself down, and I affirm that it's okay to be wonderful. This is what we do when we notice in the back of our head there's a little bit of that's how you get it. Deny it. Say you have no power here. Sit down. And so to not look at it would be to live in spiritual bypass, to pretend in a Pollyanna way, oh, everything's fine and the house is burning down. Girl, get out of the house. Everything's not fine. So this is what we do when there's a little more pushback. So the third thing is we have to do this with playfulness. We get to practice these steps with playfulness. And we know that there are some that with their seriousness and their direness, they do suck all the oxygen out of the room, like Leah's song. And we know that we can choose differently, and we can choose to come at it with a not so serious tone. Being able to laugh at yourself, it's one of the best things you could do. And it's better than laughing at other people, but laughing at yourself. And it usually comes from, you need a little bit of playful ignorance, a little, oh, I didn't know you couldn't do that. The movie Legally Blonde comes to mind, where Reese Witherspoon's like, oh yeah, I got into Harvard. What? Like, is it hard? They were like, their mouth is open, like, what? In fact, that reminds me of this last story I'll tell you about this UC Berkeley graduate student who arrived late to statistics class. And he got there one day, right? He sees 2 math problems on the board. He's like, oh, this is homework. Okay, let me write them down. So he wrote down these problems, homework assignments, and then he went home and worked on them. Took him 3 days. He returns back to class a few days later and turns them in, and he remarks to the teacher, whew, these 2 were hard. Sorry I'm late. And the teacher looks and says, oh my God, these weren't homework. They were famous unsolved problems in statistics. The dude was like, oh, I didn't know I couldn't do that. He just solved the freaking problem. Now, the student is named George Dantzig, and he went on to become a world-renowned mathematical scientist who made contributions not only to statistics, but to industrial engineering, operations research, computer science, economics, and statistics. He didn't know he couldn't do that. Yes, and I have to say something about that. Thank you, Tamara. We have a new year coming up. Now, Lunar New Year, it moves around every year because they go on, the Chinese celebrate the year in 12 segments like we do, but they follow the movement of the moon. So when there's a new moon, after the 12th month, which was last month, this is now the new moon. It's coming on Wednesday, this Lunar New Year. It's celebrated, and I love the way they celebrate. You know, the Chinese don't do anything quietly. They're like, woohoo, they've got red dragons going down the street. They've got fireworks. Do you know the story behind that? I was reading about it. Every year before spring, they have a monster called Nyan, N-I-A-N. All right. It was a monster that lore said there's a monster. So every year before spring, this monster would attack, and it would devour whole villagers whole, and their livestock too. Not even chewing, just gulp. This is terrifying, right? Wouldn't you be scared? So here's what they did. The villagers figured out what the weak spot was. They were like, you know what? That monster hates loud noises, can't stand the color red. It scares them. So they created a whole festival and a whole parade of what? Red everywhere and loud noise. That's how they got to their Lunar New Year's party or celebration. And it goes, does it go the whole month, Tamara? I think it does. And they have the little moon cakes. If you're in Chinatown during Lunar New Year, it's a party. It could be a week long. But yeah, so new moon, Wednesday, that's when that happens. So get yourself some fun little moon cakes. So what have we learned here just today? I mean, we know we talked about a lot, but in general, I just need you to know that you are in more control of your life than you give yourself credit for. You are not a victim of circumstance, or you're not as moved around by these external actions as you think. We get to choose our possibility, choose our future from infinite possibilities if we would simply take them by the reins. And so that just means not getting caught up with all of the results of yesterday's thinking, whether it's in your own life or in the life of the collective consciousness. Yeah, we are where we are because of the past, but that has no power over our future, especially your own individual future, because your choices have just been habitual up until now. And we get to choose different thoughts. Choosing different thoughts creates a different pattern. Different pattern creates a different life. And that's the process of practicing. So it's really a matter of what will you choose today? What will you choose? All right, let's go within and have our closing prayer. And so in this moment, I'm just so happy to be able to know that there's only one power, there's only one life. And yes, it moves through and as each and every one of us, but we're all connected through this one energy. Whether you call it God, Mother, Father, Shiva, Atman, Buddha, what do you call that energy? The universe, love, life, what do you call it? No matter what you call it, this is that energy that permeates all of our experience and everything that we have yet to experience. Some call this the infinite field of possibilities. And some call it the quantum level of experience. Whatever you want to call it, just know that there is infinite possibilities in each and every one of our lives. So now that we know we're all connected, couldn't be separate from it if we tried. Wherever you go, wherever you are, there is the divine right there. In this energy, since we know we're one with it, we know that there's also infinite power. So it's up to us to simply open up our awareness to more. We can have more. We can be more. What do we choose today? And that becomes more our reality than what we open our eyes and look around at. That's just the results of some other stuff. We get to go within and choose differently even now. So what are we choosing for ourselves today? Is it love? Is it peace? Is it support for anybody that's affected by the physical actions of an administration that would love to separate people? Is that what it is? We'll just go into the beautiful season of nonviolence of it all, knowing that love is the answer. And we won't be tempted to divide ourselves. We'll be finding more ways that we're alike than we are unalike. We won't be tempted to divide because we know we are united in spirit, in essence, and forever and ever in the same fabric together. And so in this awareness of oneness, I just speak my word that everybody who's recovering from an operation or about to go under an operation, that each and every one of us that are in this situation, that we are already whole, that the hands of the doctors and the surgeons are blessed by the divine intelligence that are telling it just where to go, and our bodies react, and our bodies kick in the self-healing mechanism that says, I am healed, I am whole, and all is well. And so I also speak my word for all of the ministers that are going in front of the panel on Wednesday. One of them is me. I know that everything is unfolding perfectly for each and every one of us. So I'm so excited that this is true. All I have to say is, hey, thanks. Thank you. And in the gratitude of, wow, thank you so much, I simply rest and I let it be. I simply let it go into the law because I know it's already done. And so it is. Ashe. Wosa.
Brilliant and beautiful as always, Reverend Shar. I will write you a direct message, what my son said after seeing you this morning, and I know it's going to lift you right up. It was, but right now I'm going to share this song and invite you to sing along. I bet you're not surprised. We are stronger than our pain. We are greater than our fear. We are made of each I am, and we choose where we stand. We are full of life today. We are here to pave the way. We are made of each I am, and we choose where we stand. We are full of light today. We are every word we say. We are made of freedom, and we choose where we stand. And we choose where we stand. And we choose where we stand.
Wow. Oh my goodness gracious. Folks, once again, I am reminded how blessed I am. It all comes together. Thank you so much, Leah, for the amazing songs. You gave me goosebumps on that first one. And thank you so much, Reverend Charlene. So, with that, we go into the blessings for the donations. What we do every Sunday is we recharge your battery, right? Through the music, through the message, through the meditation. And how does all that happen? Because you make it happen. So thank you so much for your donations. Odds are you found a way that you can give. They're on the screen in front of you in case you haven't found that yet. It is so easy to give. And when you give, you heard in our opening video, we believe in the law of circulation. So as we give, we receive, and we keep the flow of money going. So we give to our home organization as well as other organizations that support our vision of helping to create a world that works for everyone. And there's no asterisk behind that word, everyone. A world that works for everyone. So let's bless those gifts. Please join me. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And so it is. So now it's time for announcements. So yeah, it's Lunar New Year on Wednesday. And I don't know if somebody purposely chose Wednesday, but we know that a lot of times things just kind of work out. And the fact that Reverend Charlene, our dear sweet Charlene, is having her panels on Wednesday, I just don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's just divine planning. So as we celebrate the Lunar New Year, the year of the snake, Charlene, it is a symbol of wisdom, transformation, and growth. Could there be anything more perfect? I don't think so. So Reverend Charlene is going to do her panels on Wednesday. We are going to just surround her in love and support and blessings on that day. Keeping in mind what I told her before you tuned in, perhaps, and she gave you a little hint, is she's been preparing. She's got this. She's been preparing. Everything in her life has led her up to this day. We're going to join her at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with a Zoom link that she'll send out in email or in Slack so that we can be there to the moment where, yes, we've been calling her Reverend Charlene, and she graduated. She did all the work, but this is when it's like, boom, done. It is official now, and all the paperwork. She is Reverend Charlene. And how perfect that there are going to be fireworks, and how perfect that there are going to be some dragons that are dancing on that day. So if you can, please join us at 7 o'clock Wednesday evening. I wouldn't miss this for the world. Also, dream study. So Charlene and her friends, they meet on alternating Saturdays at 10 o'clock 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And when's your next one, Charlene?
Yeah, that's a bit of a
That's
typo,
okay.
isn't it?
It's all good.
It should be on February the 9th.
That's
8th.
8th. Okay.
8th.
February 8th is going to be the next dream study.
That's it.
Join Charlene and friends. They meet, they talk about their dreams. They interpret them in case you're having trouble interpreting your dreams. We get some insight on what is our subconscious trying to get through to us in our dreams. So that will happen on February 8th, right? All right. With that, I want to remind you that hang around if you can. We love to just stay and chat and share what in the message, what in the music what in the meditation, what is going on in your life? What just resonated with you? We share, we talk, we check in with each other. We call this Pearls, but it's kind of our coffee hour. So if you can, please stay, please join us. I have a feeling there's a lot to talk about. Just there was so much in today's message. If you can't join us, please know that we're going to send you off with our blessings as soon as we do our closing affirmation. So here we go, and think about what Charlene said when you say these affirmations. If you're not just saying this for yourself, but how can I serve others? So I am love, and I can use that love to serve others. So really take that into your heart. You ready? Here we go. I am love.
I am love.
Thank you. And now look around, a friend, a family member, a furry companion, or we know we can send these across the mile. Send this out to somebody who needs it. Here we go. You are love.
You are love.
Fantastic. And now put your hands up in the air for love sprinkles. Let's let that love just rain down and surround everything. Here we go. It's all love.
It's all love.
love.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you have to leave us, please know
Thank
that we
you,
send you off with our love, with our blessings. If you can stay, hang out with us for a little bit. Let's chat. All right. That's it. It's a wrap. January 26th.